All right, I want to start with a little something. Can I ask you to please join me on stage just for a moment? Hi, your name is? Hi, Vicky. So, let me just... Here's the thing. We know each other, and I'm offering you this gift. Please.
Thank you.
Okay. We know each other. I'm offering her a gift. Was this a polite way of accepting my gift? Who would say it's polite? More than half of you? Okay. Definitely polite here in the Netherlands. Now, let's say I'm in China, and I'm Chinese. Would it still be polite the way she did it? Exactly. So there's a rule of 3 times in China and other countries as well. So you will resist and refuse it twice, and then the 3rd time, the rule of 3 times, you will accept it. So here we go. Hi, Vicky.
Hi.
Would you please accept this gift from me?
No, thanks.
Are you sure? I mean, please, take it.
No, thank you.
I insist. Please accept this gift from me.
Okay, thanks very much.
There you go. Quick learner. You can keep it if you want. Yes.
Oh,
Thank you, Vicky. Nice applause for Vicky. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, dealing with other cultures. And I like to use images. And when you look at a culture from a distance, from afar, it can look beautiful. Everything looks the same. The sand grains look the same, just like people. But then when you zoom in closer, you notice that there's more detail. And it's not like it first appeared. And the sand grains are not all alike and all similar. And when you zoom in even closer, you see that all of these sand grains, they're all different. In fact, they're all unique. And just like individuals, just like people that you meet, they're not all the same. They're not all Dutch and all Chinese and all Brazilians. But when you get to know the people and you learn about their culture, you get to understand the beauty of the culture. So remember, when you look at a culture from a distance, we may stereotype, we may generalize. All Dutch smoke weed, and all Brazilians love carnival, and all Chinese, whatever. But remember that it's not all the same, and all individuals are unique. And it's not like it first appeared. So today, that's what I want to talk about. How can we deal with other cultures? And how can we do that positively in the sphere of positive psychology? And why am I talking about this today? Because every single day, we are confronted by people from another culture. I mean, look at us today in this conference, a beautiful cocktail mix of all of different cultures. But in your everyday life, you are dealing with people from other cultures every day. Think about at work, your colleagues, or your neighbors, or even if in your family, or in a classroom. And actually, on the internet, just one click away from somebody from another culture. So, why is this so important? We're dealing with other, in our world, our global world, we are becoming more and more diverse. So you can do 2 things. You can either resist it, or you can learn to deal with it positively. And that's what we're going to try doing in this very short amount of time today. So, before I continue, I do want to share a little something, and that is that I'm talking about cultural differences and cultural diversity, but we're dealing with people, individuals, individual human beings. So everything that I'm talking about today, you can use in your everyday life with anybody, from your own culture or somebody else's culture. All right? So, let's crack on. What is culture? Again, I like to use an image. Culture is like an onion. What is so typical about an onion or the inside of an onion? Layers, exactly. Layers. An onion has different layers, and you can compare that like the layers of a culture. You see, when I look at somebody from the outside, I see a skin color, a facial expression. I see your clothes. I see the outside. But when I get to talk to you and get to know you, I start peeling off the layers, and I start, getting closer to what are your values, what are your norms, what is polite, what is rude. So you can compare a culture to an onion, and then the more you peel off the layers, the more you get to know the beauty of the culture. Why am I the one standing here and talking about all of this? Because I love cultural differences, because I teach it, I talk about it, I study it, and because I experience it. I've been living and moving abroad for many years in many, many different countries. And yeah, this weekend I'll fly to Romania, and in a month I'll be in Australia for 2 months, and that's what I do. I live in different countries, and I inspire people to create the life that they desire, because that's what I do. I know what it's like to be stuck in a corporate job, and I used to have the perfect title and money and nice car and everything, and on the outside, the perfect picture. But on the inside, I felt really stressed and burned out. And so I was doing what was expected from me, not what I was meant to do. And now I can inspire people to create the life that they desire. And if you want to know how, go to my YouTube channel, and I put videos on there twice a week, and you'll find a lot of resources and links and inspiration and motivation right there. So, this is me. Who are you? This is you. You are a fish in a fishbowl. We all are fish in a fishbowl. And let me tell you a little story about two fish. There's this one fish swimming nicely in the fishbowl, and the first fish crosses a second fish. And the second fish says to the first fish, "Oh, hi, your water is nice and warm." And the first fish says, "Water? What water?" You see, the thing is, when you're so used to your own water, you're not realizing that you're swimming in that water. And just like our own culture, we're often not even aware of it. It's like oxygen. We breathe it every day, but when oxygen is taken away from us, we'll painfully experience that we need it. But our own cultural awareness, how aware are you? How well do you know your water? So I want to take just a 1-minute little exercise here, and I want you to all individually first have a little think, like, what is so typical about your own culture? You know, what is a typical dress, or a typical festival, or a typical event, or maybe like the Dutch directness, or a typical, or what's your language, or typical food about your culture. Just think about a few things typical about your culture. And when I say go, I want to take just 1 minute, no more, and I want you to just look at your neighbor and share. Share what is some typical cultural aspects about your own culture. If you're from the same culture, great, just add on to it and just brainstorm together. If you're from a different culture, also great, because you can just take turns. If you don't have a neighbor, just mingle in with the person next to you. So, go. Stop. I'm sorry. We have a very limited time today, so this is something I definitely go deeper into my workshops, but not now. Great. Yeah, this becomes really interesting. Good. So this is really to make you aware of your own culture. And that's the basic and the starting to move on and learn about other cultures, once you're more aware of your own culture. And so the key message that you have to remember about this really short exercise is that, a fish discovers its need for water when it's no longer in it, when it's jumping out of his fishbowl, going to another country. And just like us, our own culture, we discover the need for it when we leave or when people come from another country. And the water, the water to the fish is to us our culture. It sustains us, we live and breathe it. Now, when we go to another country or another culture, we have to step out of our comfort zone and do things that we're not used to. For some of us, when you arrive into a new country, it can feel very uncomfortable at first. You arrive in a new place and you look around and everything and everyone is different, strange. But the reality is, we are different. You see, you arrive in a new country and you look around and you see, other clothes and other facial expressions or skin color or other buildings or street signs or houses and environment and everything. And everyone looks different, but it's a trick that our mind plays with us as adults. We look around and everything is weird and foreign, and we think it's weird. And we see other people and we think they're strange. But in reality, everything around us in that new place is completely normal. We are the weirdos. We are the strangers in that new place. And we have to adapt. And so that's when I come to the fact of, hey, how are you looking into a new place or a new person? What cultural glasses are you wearing? What creates your perception? And that's why I love this quote. We don't see the things the way they are. We see the things the way we are. Because we look through our own cultural glasses. So think about when you see other things, what glasses are you wearing? What is your frame of reference that creates meaning to what you see? Let me give you an example. For some of us, this may look like a beautiful flower. For others, it may look like weed. Is one wrong or right? No, it's just a different perception. That's it. How about this one? Is it a 6? Is it a 9? Is it right? Is it wrong? It's just different. How about, ooh. For some of us, ooh. For some of us, it could be, yummy proteins. Is it right? Is it wrong? It is just different. That's the message. Now, I have created a little secret formula to adjust to other cultures and to take the shock out of cultural shock. And my little formula is 3 letters, O-L-A, hola, easy to remember. Because when you apply this formula and when you learn to deal with people from other cultures, it can enrich your life. You become a richer person. You will gain more knowledge. You will build relationships effectively around the world. You will lower misunderstandings, lower frustrations, and avoid miscommunication, avoid offending somebody, and avoid a cultural shock. Now, what does OLA stand for? Let's start with the O. Observe. Ah, you guessed it. Observe is the first one. Observe, but not just observe. Observe objectively. So don't compare to what you normally do. Don't think that what is normal to you is normal for everyone. What is normal to you could be weird to somebody else. So observe objectively. Think about, having lunch with knife and fork. It may be normal to you, but for other people it could be chopsticks. Or how about, those British, they drive on the wrong side of the road. No, how about the other side of the road? Or maybe you have a dog and it's your favorite lovely pet. For others, it could be a nice dinner. So, observe. This is me. That's what I do usually when I arrive in a new country. I just sit on a bench or I sit in a coffee shop and I observe. I can do that for hours. I really enjoy that. I observe, how are people walking fast? How are people dressed? How are people greeting? Are they shaking hands? Are they hugging? How are they looking? Just observe objectively. And do not judge. That's what observe objectively is. Do not judge. There's no right, there's no wrong. It is just different. Everyone, every individual is just unique and different. The L, learn. So we have observe, and then we have learn. Learning is the key to understand. Learn why something is different. Learn about the context of the difference, not just the difference itself. Learn, let's say I'm talking to you. I'm looking right into your eyes. Because to me, in my culture, that's polite. But for some cultures, let's say Japan, no eye contact is polite because it shows a sign of respect. So learn about these cultural differences wherever you go in the world. Learn maybe a few words of a new language. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bonjour, ¿cómo ça va? ¿Todo bien? Wie geht es dir? Learn a few words and you will get a lot of respect from another culture. Learning the language has helped me a lot to understand the culture better. It takes effort, but you will get a lot back from it. The time difference. This is probably something that causes the most miscommunication, misunderstanding, everything. The concept of time is so different between cultures. Here we are in a Western part of the world where time is punctual, time is important, time is money, we are scheduling everything. You know, even now I'm speaking, I get half an hour, no more. If I do that in India, for example, where time is more flexible, we have time is stretchable. There is no such thing as punctuality. So that's called monochronic and polychronic in cultural terms. But there's a big difference in the concept of time. And for me, I became aware of that. My very first lesson in the concept of time between cultures was when I arrived in India a few years ago. I was doing an audit for a company, and I was the only Western woman in a team of 8 Indian people. And so the first Monday morning, we agreed to meet outside the hotel at 8 a.m. So Monday morning, 7:45, punctual as I am, I arrive outside the hotel. Who was standing there alone? Me. 7:45, 7:50, 7:55. Who was still standing there alone? Me. 8 o'clock, 8:05, a first person came out. So there was 2 of us. Anyway, long story short, by the time we all gathered and left, it was 8:45. 8:45, I was boiling inside. I was like, 8:45, I was standing there for a whole hour. I could have slept longer. I could have had a nice, relaxed breakfast. I could have even gone to the gym in that hotel. An hour. I was standing there for a whole hour. So that's when I really learned, oh my gosh, what a difference. It doesn't mean they don't get the work done, but they will stay until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. In fact, that night at 1 a.m., I was still in the conference room working because it just go on and on. But time is flexible. So think about it. When you say, oh, soon, or I'll arrive later, or I'll come now, what does that mean? Now or now? So learn about the concept of time. What about this? What does this mean? Okay, yeah? Not in every culture, exactly. This means for us, it means, yeah, okay, well done, it's fine. Could also be number 3. Could also mean money in Japan. Could also be rude in Germany, I think, or offensive in Greece. So beware, like thumbs up. It's not the same everywhere. So signs, learn about that. And then comes apply. So we have O, observe, L, learn, and then apply. Apply what you've learned. Apply, if you have a meeting with someone and you're at 10 o'clock and you're a very punctual person and somebody else comes a bit later, instead of being frustrated thinking, you were late, maybe you can say something like, oh, I'm glad you made it. Or apply like the Dutch directness. I'm sure you've noticed. It's the one thing that everybody always tells me. Oh, the directness of the Dutch, you're so blunt and they're so rude. So the thing is, the Dutch are very direct and they are an individualistic culture. And they just say, hey, yes is yes, no is no. I can do it, yes, or no, I can't do it. For them, it's just open and honest communication. But for a culture like, let's say, India, they have harmony as a virtue. They saying no is way too confrontational. They will never say no because they don't want to hurt your feelings. So yes has 5 meanings. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I'll try. Yes, maybe. Yes, I'll do my best. Yes, actually, no, I can't. But they'll always say yes. So be aware of that. And a thing to do is ask open questions. Instead of, can you make it to the deadline? Maybe you can say, well, when do you think you could finish it? Ask open questions. So apply. Apply. And yeah, maybe try some typical foods. Some typical Dutch foods, for example. Try it out. Taste it. So apply means, you know the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. When it comes to culture, I like to add a little twist. Treat others the way they want to be treated. You know, when I go fishing, I like, for example, chocolate and strawberries. But when I go fishing, do I put on that little hook a strawberry and chocolate to attract the fish? No, I give them what they want. I put a little worm on it. So do unto others the way they want to be treated when it comes to cultures. But, there is a but. This doesn't mean you have to love and agree with all these other cultural habits and behaviors. All I'm saying, and the message here is, be open-minded. Be open-minded and learn. So, I hope that what I shared today will help you to have some effective communication, whether it's from people with your own culture or another culture. It can, applying what I was talking about today, can help you avoid misunderstandings, avoid miscommunication. And again, just go to my YouTube channel and find a lot more inspiration because I only get half an hour here. And I want to end with a little quote of Jimmy Carter who says, "We are not a melting pot. We are a beautiful mosaic of different people, different hopes, different yearnings, different dreams." And if there's one thing, just 30 more seconds, that I want you to take away, it's this. Imagine you're going to a new country and you step out of the airport and you look around and you're all excited. It's a new place. And there's a blue sky and a sun and maybe some green and colors. And you know the feeling? You know the feeling like, oh, yeah, lovely, you know, a nice place and it's all new and I'm really excited. That feeling, those butterflies, I want you to keep whenever you meet somebody new from another culture. Enjoy. Hola.